Hi guys, welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe. I'm streaming to you live in Facebook land. So here we are. We had some glitches with the Be Live app that we've used to broadcast over at YouTube. So unfortunately, I can't see like who's here or any of the comments, but sending lots of love out to you guys and hoping that this goes out there the way it's meant to. Today is all about creative being, and what that means is how do we learn how to create the life that we want, the experience that we want to have. You know, there are things that get talked about all the time, law of attraction and manifestation. But learning how to be a creator, you know, is like becoming the magician in your life. And that magical aspect that we all carry is really important, and we often forget about it. We forget how to tap into our personal magic and how to really create, like I said, the experiences that we want to have. So one of the things that comes through as part of learning how to be a creative being is, you know, using some of your imagination, using your intuition. What do you want? Or how do you want to live your life? Today was a great example for me about being in my creative being. I had, you know, a normal day in the beginning, you know, in terms of, you know, getting up and going to work and working with a client in person. But then it was like, okay, work can be work, but how can this day be more magical? So it was having lunch and being able to sit outside in the sun and really tasting the food, because I slowed down and was enjoying the bite and enjoying the different flavors as they were mixing together in my mouth. And it was a new sandwich I'd never tried at this cute little bakery called A Cafe and Bakery right in Wells. And I just was enjoying the interesting way that the protein came together, and what they chose to put it on in the bread. And it felt like I was eating somebody's artistic creation. And just sitting outside and breathing in the air and enjoying the sunshine, it created a different experience for having lunch, ingesting food. And I had other tasks to do, went to the, you know, came home and got things ready, go to the post office, mailed out some orders and things like that. And in that process, it's like I had some free time. And I moved recently, you know, last year, many of you know, I moved to the ocean. And it was a beautiful day. And it was, you know, let's go in the car and let's go sit at the ocean and have our first iced coffee of the season and trying a new flavor. You know, blueberry decaf was like a new flavor, and it was experiencing that, and the salt and the sea and the sunshine and conversation about possibilities, you know, different possibilities. It puts you in a different mindset. So when we're in that mindset, you know, we really can be, I'm going to say hello to Julie. Hopefully, I don't even know if I can say it. Yay! Hello, Carol. I'm actually seeing comments on the side. Yay! So I have not done a live Facebook, just so you guys know, in like, woo, a while, but here we are. And as Rob said, Be Live is having a system-wide issue. So, you know, it was just one of those things. But here we are. And so when you're in a space where you're creative, you are a creative being. You can choose the experiences that you are going to have. Did I have to work today? Yes. Did I, enjoy my work today? Yes. And it opened up time and space for me to do things that could be mundane, like having a sandwich, but transform them into a state of being. So I was very present with that. And that's the difference. We can go through and we can trudge through every day. Oh, we're doing the same old, and it can be a very depressive, heavy energy. And, this is the time where we can really check in differently. So I'm going to say hello. Thank you, Rob, for loving and sharing it to all the locations. And Lindsay said I'm doing great so far. Ellen's confused. She was waiting on YouTube. So were we. But Be Live, which is the engine that sends us over to YouTube, was having system-wide issues. So there we have it. We just couldn't use it. So we needed to go live on Facebook. And it was not what I was expecting, but that's okay, right? When you're in a creative space and you're in creative being, it's like, okay, how long are we going to push against something that's not working? And it's like, it's okay. We'll just go here. So being here on Facebook, it's not as fun for me because I love having a co-pilot who can, be behind the scenes and helping with things. But he's still here with me, and not just in spirit, but he's actually physically here, which is helpful. That I know my co-pilot's still hanging out. But that's one of the things that happens. Things in life happen, and if we expect things to go one way, we often get in that mindset of like trying to make it happen. When you are in the energy of creative being, when you hit that resistance, when you bump up against that thing that's just not working, you can keep pushing and pushing, or you can take a deep breath and go, okay, we'll do it another way. And that's exactly what happened. It was like, all right, doesn't look like it's going to get resolved quickly, is kind of what I was feeling and thinking with Rob. And I'm like, we'll just go native, Facebook, and then we'll figure out the logistics after. My team wouldn't leave me hanging. My spiritual team wouldn't leave me hanging. And maybe it was supposed to happen, right? As that energy of, here we are in creative being. Oh, Eleanor, thank you. Thank you for loving my hair. I'm enjoying my hair too. I'm embracing some of the natural white that's underneath, and but still loving my color a little bit so I can have some. And it's one of those things that it's how I could express who I feel like I am. Sometimes we get caught in like, we feel blah, our hair, our clothes or something, and we just feel blah. And we don't have to choose that. In this day and age, we can do really whatever the heck we want. And for me, it was, you guys saw some of the really bold, bright colors that I did initially. But during COVID, not getting your hair colored and really seeing how much white was underneath, which I was quite oblivious to, but I've been having my hair colored a long time because I started growing gray really early, and wasn't ready, and that was okay. But now I can be really playful, and that's part of being creative. And like picking clothes that you really like to wear rather than throwing something on just because you have it. it's a different mindset. You know, when you enter your day and you pick something, you know, that you love. I'm sure you guys all have had the experience where when you're wearing something that you love, or that, you know, you get a lot of compliments when you're in, like, you walk around and you're happier, you have a better day. And it's not so much that we're seeking that attention, but we're feeling more like ourselves in our own skin. We're enjoying our personal being. And when we're in that state, we can have the energy to create all sorts of wonderful things around us. So Rob said he went gray at 19. And he definitely got, you know, a little upset about BeLive not working today. And it's happened a number of times, right? It's technology. It's you know, it's a tool. And when one tool doesn't work, you use another one. That's how we create, right? When we build things, we sometimes, you know, it's nice to have our comfortable regular tool, you know, like using the BeLive and going on YouTube. It's nice to be in that normal thing. But sometimes we just need to like throw out the rule book and try something different. So here we are. And part of creative being is seeing what doesn't feel right anymore in our lives and choosing through our free will to pick something else or do something else or be something else. And in that creativity, we can really, you know, rock being human. My team's having an interesting time with some words. It's like, you can rock being the human. And if we're going to rock being human, then why not have some fun with it? Why do everything the way someone else told us we had to? You know, it's about, we are the co-creators with the divine on how our life is meant to unfold. If you don't like something, change it. You know, if you were in the middle of a movie and you didn't like a scene, wouldn't you like edit it and throw it on the ground and not use it? I mean, that's what we're talking about. It's like, oh, I don't like that chapter, I'm going to rewrite it. And it's not going back and fixing the past. It's really about being very present in the moment and truly deciding what you want and how you want it. You know, my husband and I had talked for years, decades, about moving to Maine when we retired. And it was because we figured once life was done, then we could move. And, you know, our baby just turned 30 over the weekend. And we got to a point where we're like, our kids are grown-ups. Why do we have to wait until we retire to do something we want to do and love to do? And our jobs can be done anywhere. Just because we're comfortable doing them where we are doesn't mean that they can't come with us. And, you know, my job in particular, when I'm doing healing, when I'm doing teaching, which a lot of it is online at this point, and when I am doing coaching with people and helping them work through life issues, I can do that anywhere. I've done it, you know, in a hotel room when I'm on vacation and I go back to the hotel and I work for an hour and a half so that I'm paying for my vacation. Isn't that a different way to experience work? And it pays the bills and it gives us what we want. And, you know, everything unfolded really rapidly. And that was because it was something we talked about, we wanted, we dreamt about, and realized that the only thing standing in our way was ourselves. And once we were in that space of, oh, right, we can create this ourselves, it's like, okay, what do we need? You know, what can we let go of, and what do we really need? You know, how many bedrooms, how much room? You know, do we need outdoor space? I couldn't decide between a deck and a porch, and we ended up with a house that has both. Um, so, and we paid, you know, a price that I couldn't have imagined us being able to pay for a house, because that wasn't the reality. Um, so, um, you know, when you're being creative, it can be about any aspect of your life. You know, my husband right now, he's working part-time, doing something that's like not his joy, but he's good at, because we're in flux. You know, it's hard to be a massage therapist as we're coming out of this, you know, COVID time. And so, and he needed to do something that felt fulfilling and that he could help people. And so he's helping people with knowledge that he has. And it's, you know, 2 miles down the road. So it's like easy access, and it gives him just something that, you know, gives him meaning to, I guess it gives him meaning to get up in the morning maybe, but more of it gives him something to do, while this plan is unfolding. And we both were feeling this week in particular, the energy really shifting. And I knew right after Easter is a very strong time for rising from the ashes. You know, Lent, you purge all the junk and you rise above, you know. And so we talk about, you know, for those who are Christian, you talk about, you know, Jesus is risen, but the energy on the planet is like the phoenix, that you can burn away anything that doesn't work for you, and you can rise above it and become something even fuller, even more magnificent. And that energy gets even more momentum when we hit May 1st, which is really a time of fertility and rebirth. That is like, we're in our creative juices right now. We're in a really strong time for new beginnings. And so my team was really clear about, how do we bring about that creativity? How do we access that part of ourselves that knows what to do, knows how to be a creator? Because that's what we are. We're here to try things. And the other thing that's been coming has been, you know, how magical do you want your life to be? And do you think you deserve it? Oh yeah, Kathy, love May 1st. I know Beltane is like, woo! It really brings out that energy. And you know, we're in a lot of this Aries fire, you know, so it's been sort of purging all of the stuff, you know, burning away what's not working, which can be hard. But then, you know, all of those seeds that we planted before are going to flower and are going to come to the surface. So in terms of our chakra energy, our creativity gets its juice, its juiciness in our second chakra. No surprise that that's where the womb is located for women, you know, because that's where we're fertile. And that is where the fertile energy is. And it's all about cosmic flow. And if you think about, you know, like a nebula kind of going back and forth in there, it's like, how are you going to use it? And when we want something to appear in our current reality, we need to ground it into the earth plane. So we need to ask that first chakra, that root chakra, you know, hey, can you anchor this and help me, you know, really cement it down here on earth. And so if you can imagine, like in a linear way, we see the second and the first chakra like as a straight line. That's really a flat, two-dimensional approach to it. But really, when we activate it, especially if we want to activate it not just in the third dimension, but maybe the fourth and the fifth, we're going to think of our hips as being points in a diamond. So we have the second chakra, we have the hips that are really calling it into both sides of our being, our spiritual being and our physical being, and our masculine and feminine aspects, our right and our left, and really then comes back together like the point of the diamond in our first chakra. And then that first chakra really sends it down into the earth, really creates a strong rooted connection. Now, when we see that diamond, if we can imagine it like popping out in the third dimension, so more 3D, so it looks like a cube on its point, then that will give it a little more, that's a little more room, if you can imagine, for that nebula to be in there and percolating and creating. And then if we move it into the fifth dimension, if you can feel it like stretch out into more of a tetrahedron, and we have the Merkaba energy, and we have an ascension vehicle that put our creative juices into this ascension vehicle that can send it off and bring it back to us rapidly. Like rapidly. I know that may sound, oh, well, it takes a while. No, it can be really super quick. The more clear and concise you are in what you are bringing to you and how you want to bring it to you, the faster it lands. Yesterday, I had just noticed that I wanted a certain amount of money to come in so that I could pay a bill on time. Not that I wasn't going to be able to pay it. I could. I had extra money in the account, but I'm like, hey, can you send me that money so I can pay that bill tomorrow? And within less than 2 minutes, I had a client who reached out to me and booked an appointment. And they booked the appointment, and then I had an order come online. Somebody ordered something from my website. They ordered some oils. So it was like, not only did I get it one way, I got it 2 ways, and it was actually double. And it was like, and not that I needed it or wanted it. I wanted it, because I didn't want to think about, oh, well, how much is in the checkbook and can I balance it or not? I was just like, well, if I know if it's in my hand right now, I'm going to be able to just hand it right back. And because it came in, boom, boom, it was like, here. It was right. It came in, it went right back out. And I'm sure that my energy was helping them on their end pay their bill. Like it goes in that kind of cycle. I guess that's the best way for me to describe it. So that's what happens when you're really in tune with you're the creator. A few years ago, I would have been angsty about money, and I might have, done some of my law of attraction mantras and things like that. And the money would have come. But maybe in a few days, like maybe like 2 or 3 days, which would have been fine. But there would be that, sometimes those few days of angst, right? Because you're not quite sure that it's going to come. That level of disbelief is disconnecting you sometimes from your creativity and your creative being. So in that place of being, the stronger you believe and the stronger your intent, the more rapid it comes to you. And We all have this in us. And it's no surprise, really, that this would show up as a topic from my spiritual team to talk about right after Easter, because the whole point is to reinforce our connection to the divine, however we perceive that. We all have our own unique transmitter that connects us with our spiritual team and with the divine. And when we're in sync, boy, those things happen rapidly. And we've had those experiences with people too, right? Where you're talking about one thing and somebody finishes your sentence. That's when you're in creative flow with that other person. That's a really important thing for people to experience, is to really know that when we're in sync, that's what happens. Kathy's saying, you know, you're speaking my language, right? Absolutely, I know I'm speaking your language, because hey, we're all here together, right, Kathy? So when we have something, and sometimes like little things like, okay, I want this cute little crystal. This is an easy thing to call in. It's like, ooh, I want a good second chakra heart crystal, please. Boom. We're not attached to the outcome of that. And so it can get here really rapidly. You can say, all right, I want to know my spiritual team is here. So I want to see a bunny rabbit. So whenever I see a bunny rabbit, I'm going to know my spiritual team's with me and they're helping me out. We're not attached to that. Money, a house, a car, a job, we push out of our range sometimes with anxiety, with worry, with questioning whether we deserve to get it when we need it. And when we're having those moments where we lack connection, we aren't accessing all of our creative being. And when we are in doubt, our crown chakra starts to close a little bit. So there's less flow getting to us, and it's because we're not fully believing. And boy, that's what happens. Kathy's saying, I wasn't supposed to be able to be on your live tonight, and voila, my commitment canceled. Right, because you probably needed to hear this now, right? And there are people who are going to watch this live after the fact and be like, and the moment they see it is exactly when they need to hear it. Because we're all in that place. Like sometimes we just can't hear it. And then all of a sudden it'll be a light bulb later. Hi, Joanna. Nice to have you. Nice to see you here. Thanks for joining us. So in creative being, we really are tapping into the energy that's already there. Our chakras, our energy system, they're expanding, they're evolving. But, my team is very strong on, let's just do the basics. Let's get the basic understanding down. And then when you got to get it all fancy, we'll work on it. Lindsay said, yeah, I bought your manifestation point oil for the very first time yesterday and was wondering why. Now this. Yes, you did. No surprise that, you were like, instinctively, I'm going to need manifestation oil for some reason. Yeah. And there you go. It's right there. It's going to help you access it. The manifestation, there's two blends that say manifestation. One's the manifestation blend, which is helping you in creating what's going on in your life right now. The manifestation point is connecting you to your soul chakra or your higher self chakra. So imagine your higher self's second chakra. So your higher self's creativity, we can tap into that and use that with our own. So when you can bring those two together, you're not creating just in, the third dimension. You're creating in the fourth or the fifth, because your higher self can get it to you faster because the connection is clearer and fuller. So happy to have you, Joanna. And Ellen saying, I'm so glad your show is back. I really missed having that weekly connection. Hope to see you in Maine. Yeah, I have had 3 in-person clients this week, which is like exciting, because it means we're coming back. we're pulling back out of this energy of like being in isolation. And it was interesting. Like, one of the things that got created from that, of having people in person, was I had to do laundry, which was actually exciting. Like, I was excited to have laundry to do from seeing people in person. And that creative energy of, I want to see more people in person, don't we all? And I want to do it safely, but I also want to help people wherever they're at. I really enjoy working people all over the country, all over the world, because we've all got something. We're all interconnected, and we all have something to offer each other. And sometimes, when you're co-creating, you're creating with, you're having a conversation with somebody, and that can be co-creation, because you can do some, well, what if this and what if that? And it gets your creative juices flowing for both of you. And once they get flowing, you open up your connection and you allow that to drop in. And it's more about being than doing. That's what my team is saying. And Kathy said, this is crazy. That was the card I pulled this morning. The higher self from Sonia's deck. I know, the higher self. I'm assuming maybe you're doing the Ask Your Guides deck. Is that the deck, Kathy, that you're using? I studied with Sonia Choquette, and so many of my students and clients have read her books and used her oracle decks, and they're just really fun. They're spot on. One of my favorites is Ask Your Guides, but there's a whole bunch of them that are just spot on. And I think really, if you're drawn to any oracle deck asking for wisdom coming in, it's usually the perfect deck for you. I don't know that we ever would end up with the wrong deck. It's like, this is how I want to connect with my team. Show me how. I can play a game of solitaire and ask that my score be an angel number so that I can get a message. And I play a game and I get a score, and then I look up what the number means, and boom, it's always right on. So that's another way of being creative. Like, I'm having fun, but I'm also connecting in a different way. And you can ask for more and more that enter in your life. So, nice, Joanne. I'm glad you invited Marianne. Yes, I haven't seen her in a couple of years now. That's really cool. So I am going to do, does the deck need to be full? Rob said, asks. No, the deck does not need to be full. And, there's times that we are, it's our focus, right? Are we half empty or half full? And, I have a deck that's just right on my phone. It's not the fanciest deck, but putting a deck right on my phone, it's like sometimes I'm like, okay, can you just give me, can you give me some insight into the energy of the day? And it's not that my team won't tell me, my team will tell me, but sometimes when I'm in like a place where it's difficult for me to pay attention or I'm feeling a little ungrounded, then that's what happens. So we are going to do a meditation, really a healing in a way, to reconnect you to your creativity, where your creativity flourishes from, and how you can access that. And the cool thing is that here we are live, it's being recorded, and you'll have it. You'll be able to find it. And we will throw this over on our YouTube channel, Trinity Mystical Energy, when we're all done. And yeah, so let's do that meditation and then we'll wrap this stuff up. So I invite you to take a couple of really deep breaths. And I just ask the divine energy to surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light. Having already set the sacred container for this room, for this class, and this interaction with these wonderful people. And I encourage you to invite in your spiritual team, your angels, your guides, your ancestors, the star beings, your mystical creatures, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to us in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we set the intention that this healing meditation is for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. And we're going to connect to our heart chakra for a moment. Feeling the beautiful love energy, unconditional love. And allowing that energy to radiate out through our whole being. Expanding our sense of self. Creating a strong, thick cord of connection through the earth plane. And also to the divine, where our soul was first perceived. Inviting the divine energy and creativity to flow to us and through us. Connecting to our second chakra and feeling it fill and overflow with the original creation energy. Inviting it to anchor in our hips and in our root chakra beneath our tailbone. In this beautiful diamond filled with the original creation energy. Welcoming it through each vibration, frequency, dimension that we may connect to. And really inviting the energy to also anchor into our physical body, into the earth plane, so that we can experience our creations and our creativity more fully, more completely. Connect deeply within your heart to your heart's creations, your heart's desires, how your soul wishes to express itself. And allowing the creativity to flow to that possibility. Opening and expanding through the crown into our divine possibilities of being able to express who we truly want to be and how we want to live more fully, more completely, each and every day. And whether you're sensing music being written, paintings being made, yummy food, happiness, peace, tranquility, all are creations that are part of your being. And if there's something in particular that you have been wanting to have or to be, opening the possibilities of that coming to you more quickly, releasing any resistance that we might have in deservability, worthiness. Allowing that to melt off of us. And now taking a few moments of gratitude with your spiritual team for guiding you, helping you through your healing, through your connection, through the awakening of the creative juices within you, how to access them. And gratitude for us coming together. And I'm glad we did. So slowly bring your attention back to this moment. You can feel your physical body start to notice your muscles and your legs, stretch, yawn, whatever you need. So this is something that you can access whenever you need it, whenever you're feeling like you need a creative boost. You can use this to help you get there, which is great. So just a couple of like housekeeping things. So next week on Tuesday, right here on the Trinity Mystical Energy page, you will find there's a class called Introduction to Energy Medicine. And Rob has pinned it in the comments. And I'm doing a quick introductory class on, how our energy impacts our health and well-being. So things like how do we bring out more creativity? How do we have less headaches? How can we sleep better? How do we manage depression? How do we handle back pain? Those are all things that are part of our energy body. And in our introduction to energy medicine, I'm going to go into some of the basics about our energy system, our aura, and there's always cool information. Many of us know about chakras, but as you guys know, the information comes channeled through. So would you maybe learn something new? Probably. I often do, and I'm the one teaching. So it might be just, you might hear the right thing for the right person too that needs to hear it, because we are the creators of our health as well. And if we're not enjoying our health and well-being, well, how about we change it? Because we can. And I've worked with people with very severe post-traumatic stress, and myself included, people with cancer and fibromyalgia and things that, you can really shift if you are ready to let go of why it got created in the first place. So Ellen asked, is the class useful to update if I've been to school already? That'll be up to you. It definitely could be, because like I said, sometimes there's brand new information, and I've been getting a lot of information about how to help our energy evolve into beyond the third dimension, into the fourth and the fifth. So that can be a really cool thing. So that's coming up on Tuesday, and we'll be back next week on our YouTube channel, Trinity Mystical Energy, and I don't remember what the next class is about, but Rob will have it out there next week. I gave him the whole month already up front. And then, if you're looking for support in how to be more creative or keep your creativity flowing, feel free to check out our website, trinitymysticalenergy.com. If you go onto that and click onto the Mystical Healing Boutique, you'll see the oils and things are there. There's one for abundance, one for creativity, one for manifestation, the manifestation point that connects you to your higher self and the creativity there. Some of those might work. And there's a whole bunch of things that have to do with the law of attraction and some fantastic crystals, like citrine, that can really help you hone in on doing that. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. I can't wait to see you next week. And thank you for Rob for sticking with it, because I know it was difficult having our platform not quite work the way we wanted it to, but we still made it. So you guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, guys. Once I figure how to make it stop, I will. Bye, guys.